Hi, I'm LG from the Horse Race Advantage Company. Welcome back to our video series, handicapping video series. This particular video is going to be talking to the Ragozin Figures, the third one that's identified as speed ratings that can be used in handicapping and is being used mostly by trainers and owners that are trying to place a particular horse at a certain level where he can be competitive.
The Ragozin figures are generated by Ragozin and have been for a long time. He measures how fast a horse has run in previous races, and it identifies and points to a horse's physical ability. His measures are such that the lower the measure, the better, and the figures are adjusted for the variances, like the track variances, the jockey weights, wind, ground loss, etc., and they are pretty much adjusted across different tracks. It gives a quick view of the horse's performance by year, and so this is important because a 2-year-old does not run the same way as a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. And it shows graphically the number of races a horse has run and the type of races he's been in. And like I said, the Ragozin figures are for each year. It shows quickly whether a horse is improving or whether he's staying the same or he's digressing. So here's a sample of the Ragozin figures. They are by race class. As you can see here, the graded 1, 2, 3 stakes races and the 50K stakes at Calder. So you can see they are actually done by track, and so they differ by track. Then there's the grade 1 stakes races for 2-year-olds. And then you have the Triple Crown races 1, 2, 3, and a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds at Saratoga and 3 years old at Monmouth. So when you look at the graded stakes races, they go from when they were measured in 2007, they went from -2 to a 6, and then for 50K stakes at Calder, they ran 8 to 10. And when you look over here, the grade 1 stakes for 2-year-olds are 4 to 6. You notice this, that the 2-year-olds are higher than the grade 1 stakes normally, and -2 to 0. So, and then when you look at the Triple Crown race, the graded stakes race is 2 to 4. So you see that from 4 to 6, the Triple Crown races are for 3-year-olds, and so they get better, and so the numbers go lower. Okay. So the maiden special weight for 2-year-olds at Saratoga were 8 to 12, and for Mammoth they were 11 to 16. What this shows is that the track variances are such that the horse actually runs slower at Mammoth. So when you compare these two numbers, they're actually the same, even though the numbers are the same, are different. The fillies and turf races are generally 3 points higher. In other words, they run slower. So how do you use the Ragozin figures? You use the numbers in order to identify a horse's ability, the physical and mental ability, and determine at what class level a horse is likely going to be most competitive. Example, a horse with a Ragozin figure of 30 is most likely not going to be in a stakes race where the number is going to be in the 10s. Okay, well, this is fairly similar to actually a buyer rating. When the buyer rating is 70, you are not going to put that horse in a 100 race that's a graded stakes race, or vice versa. But what the Ragozin figures also do is it identifies a horse that's coming to form. In other words, it's improving. When the numbers keep on going down, meaning it's getting better, it means that the horse can actually be moved into a better class. But you also have a similar situation when you look at the buyer ratings. When the buyer ratings go up, you also know that the horse is improving. So the most likely winner with the Ragozin figures is the horse with the lowest Ragozin figures in recent races, and as they're coming to form. So when we compare the Moss figures against the Ragozin figures, we find that the Moss figures allow for both the Moss figures and the Ragozin figures allow for track variances, and Moss figures are normalized, Ragozin figures are not. And the reason for the Moss figures to be normalized is because they are somewhat based on the Bayer figures, which are normalized across tracks. Moss figures do not take into account the age factor, but Ragozin figures do, and there's no lifetime graph for Moss figures, but there is for Ragozin. So Ragozin figures actually give you a quick look at how the horse is doing. So let's take a quick look at an example here. So they are done by age. So this is race at the age 2. You see this horse only had 0 races. Then at age 3, he had 7 races. At age 4, he had 13 races. Now, this is just an example here where you see that these 3 races that he has over here, he had a 19 and 21, meaning that he's actually going the opposite way, right? Now, over here, as a 4-year-old, he ran 25, 27, 23, 28, 22, 23, 24. You see that he pretty much established his Ragozin number, and this goes back to once the horse is raced for a while, he has pretty much established his class level, and he's not going to change a whole lot unless you see a lot of changes, significant changes. So this is how you actually check and see what type of race the horse is running. And this is Bay Meadows here. Bay Meadows the 10th, Bay Meadows 15, Bay Meadows. Okay, so here you can find out what track he ran, but what you really want to find out is what were his Ragozin figures and whether he's improving. So here, this horse is not really improved, and his average number is about 23. So if he runs against horses that ran 30, then he has a good chance of actually winning. If he runs against horses that are running in the 10s and 12s, he's probably going to lose.
This concludes the video on the Ragozin figures. It is the 3rd speed rating that's well known in the handicapping industry, maybe a little less known than the Bayer ratings or the Moss figures, but nevertheless they are being used. And using this information, you may actually find that you can actually identify that particular horse that's actually coming to form. So I hope you found this particular video informative, and I'm looking forward to your next video that is dealing with information that influences the outcome of a particular race. So I hope to see you in our next video. Thank you.